Hello, everybody. Welcome to our evening with the crew. I am so excited to get started. My name is Charlotte Gocknauer, and I am the business manager for the Homeschool Review Crew. We're going to be talking about lots of interesting things tonight about the crew. So I am going to introduce myself, and then I'm going to introduce my two friends that I have with me here tonight. I live in California, and I and my husband have 4 children, which we have homeschooled, and it's been an adventure, and I've loved every minute of it. So it's a really great way to get to know your kids better, as you all might know. So Tess is here. She is also on the crew. Tess, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm married to my best friend, and we have 4 daughters. We live south of Seattle in rainy but beautiful Western Washington. We've been homeschooling what feels like forever. We started investigating homeschooling when our oldest was 18 months old, and officially started her with preschool in 1999.
Wow.
Yeah, and I became part of the crew almost a dozen years ago. So
wow. That's crazy. It's been that long. That's amazing.
I know I had to think about that for a minute because it's been such a big part of my life. It's like forever.
Yes, that's crazy. And then Stephanie is here from the East Coast, right?
That's right. So I live in very northeast Tennessee, the very tip-top corner, and I live here with my husband and our 3 kiddos. And we're living our life right now. It's really awesome. We have been homeschooling for almost 5 years. And where we didn't start off homeschooling, we sent our kiddos to public school to begin with, and the Lord led us to homeschooling, and we haven't looked back. It's been amazing. And so I am actually the director of ad sales here at the Old School House, and I get to be a part of the crew in such a fun and neat way. And I'm so excited to be, just part of it, and I'm blessed to be part of it. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
I am so excited to have you here too. The Tennessee, I've never been. I absolutely would love to go visit Tennessee. So someday, and we get to meet, which would be wonderful. No, the Old School House is such an amazing company. So, and how the crew being a part of it, how does that fit, Stephanie, into the Old School House?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. So we did this really wonderful survey this past year, and we found out some really interesting things. And one of those things is that over 60% of homeschooling families that we surveyed, they look to homeschool blogs for advice on the curriculum that they pick, right? And over 90% of the folks that we surveyed, they read product reviews. And you're probably thinking, I read product reviews because a lot of people read product reviews. And so the review crew is in a really unique position in that it's an ad venue that we can sell to our vendors who work diligently to put out quality products for homeschooling families, not just curriculum, but lots of different products. And so what they do is they're able to purchase this ad venue, and then we help them get the word out about their product through reviews. And it's just a really unique program. It's a really unique product that we offer. And there's lots of moving parts and pieces to it, but that's it in a nutshell.
That is really a unique thing that we do, right? Because if you think about it, any product that you want to purchase, even a service, you look at reviews. You want to see, how did this work? Did it work for them? And so reviews are so important. So yeah, and that's right. That's what the crew does. We review homeschooling products, and as everyone knows, homeschooling is becoming so popular right now. There are so many curriculums and products out on the market, and so we review the different products. We even review things that are meant for families. And then what sets us apart, though, what's really unique is that we use those products. We don't just look them over. We actually use them in our homes with our families. Typically, we use them for about 6 weeks, and then our team writes and shares those reviews on their blogs and even on social media. So it's really a neat team of ladies that are not just helping homeschoolers, but they're also, it's blessing their families. So it's a really neat kind of circle. So yeah, it's neat.
That's a great point, Charlotte. And that's something we like to remind people of is, homeschooling families are just that, right? They're families that use, yes, homeschooling curriculum, but any other type of product. And I love that you mentioned that we do other types of products because we, excuse me, so many times we've been able to do these really cool, fun products that any family would love, right?
Exactly.
So it's really a neat position that we get to be in.
It is something as simple as a little plaything for preschoolers, all the way to things for moms. This last year, we reviewed ferment tools, which was a way to ferment things. It was such a great product, like just things that your family uses. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, and I know a lot of people are listening tonight that want to understand more about how the crew works. And Tess is our review quality manager. And Tess, I would love for you to explain like how the crew works. How does it function?
Well, we start with a vendor interest form. So just like, once you're part of the crew, you're like, well, how do I get products, right? How do I get these things to review? So I'll post a vendor interest form for every vendor that has purchased a spot. And you have the opportunity then to tell me, how interested are you? Is this something that's going to bless your socks off? You can get to tell me that. If this is something that doesn't quite float your boat, you can let me know that too. And then from that, I create a list and send it to the vendor, and the vendor sends out their product. And the reviewers will then use that product. You get to use it with your children, use it with your family, for the family product. And sometimes you get to use it with multiple children, with like some of our subscriptions. And then you write a review that's based on that experience. And you share on your blog or social media platform how that product worked for you and why you liked it or why you didn't like it. And that's basically how it works. There's a few little things that we have to do to make things run smooth, but that's the heart and soul of what we do. What you do is how the review crew works from a reviewer perspective.
Yes, and you said that beautifully. It really, it's and I know one of the common questions that comes up is, do we have to review everything that we've been given? And you answered that. We take into account your interests and the ages of your children. And like you said, if you really, really want it, or if you're like, nope, this would not work for us, we absolutely take that into consideration. Yeah, exactly. And I just want to throw in there, guys that are listening, if you have questions, please type them in that comment box. We'd love to hear from you and answer any questions, even just pop it in to say hi. We'd love that. So, but to join the crew, we obviously have some things that we need, that you need to have. We actually need you to be homeschooling. You got to be homeschooling either pre-K through 12th grade, one child, but we do ask that you are a homeschooling family. And then we also ask that where you're going to post that review, if it be on a blog, if it be on Facebook or Instagram, that you have an account that is active and that's public. If you have a Facebook, it needs to be a page and not a personal profile. And then that you're active on there, that you have some followers, that you post on there regularly. And that's a really important part of kind of getting those products out there, is having an active platform.
Yeah, it really is important that it be active, because active platforms draw even more followers, and it makes your post, your review more visible by search engines, which help you out, because then it draws in more views and potentially more followers for you. So you get to expand your reach while helping the company to get the word out about their product. So being active is very important for getting seen by those search engines.
It's funny because there's been times when I've been like, oh, my Instagram account, I'm not going to touch it for a couple of weeks, and I don't have any likes at all when I start posting. But it's when I post regularly, I'm like, whoa, a lot of people are seeing these posts. So that is so, so true. So, and the other thing that we have, which is a really neat kind of side port of being on the crew is we have a private forum, and we share lots of information on there, but then we have encouraging posts. So there's a place to share recipes. If you have even just general homeschooling questions, we also pray for one another on there. We have prayer requests, and I love the friendships that I see being formed on our forum. So we do have a forum that if you do join the crew, we put stuff up there. We do ask that you check that forum and that you fill out any of the forms that you have to fill out. So it's really it's a really neat community of homeschooling parents. Yes. that want to help others, but then also want to meet others that are doing the same thing. So it's just a really neat group of people.
It really is, Charlotte. And I love that you use the word community, because that is exactly what the crew is, right? It's a community of folks working. We kind of have the same viewpoints on a lot of things. We're homeschooling families. And so how wonderful is it that when we have prayer needs, when we have questions about curriculum, or how do I get my child to do this? We have, right, the crew has this forum, and they can go to the forum, and what a fun community. And so I really love all this that you're saying about the crew, both of you. Yes, it's a product that we sell to our vendors to help them get the word out about their products, but it's so much more. There's so much more to the crew. There is the actual using of products, right? And that's what really sets excuse me, friends, that's what sets us apart, is that we use those products. It's not just, oh, hey, this looks cool. It's we're in it, right? And we're really using this with our children. And so then when the community, the homeschooling community in general, says, hey, I need a math curriculum, or I need a spelling curriculum, or I just need a fun thing to do with my children, they know that they can come to our website and get real, useful, honest reviews about products. And that's a blessing in itself as a homeschool mom. And I think we've talked about that, what a great blessing to know that you can go there and trust those reviews. So it's really a wonderful program in itself.
It really is. It really is. And it's been such a blessing to me. And I know to so many other people that are on our crew for sure. So yeah. And we actually have someone here with us who is on the crew that is going to just share some things with us. So Meredith is here. Hello, Meredith.
Hello.
I am so happy you joined us tonight. So Meredith is going to just tell us a little bit about herself and her homeschooling journey.
Okay, awesome. So I am a vintage homeschool mom. I've been homeschooling a long time, and now I'm a grandmom, and I have 4 grandchildren and 1 on the way, and so excited. So I have 5 children, and I love homeschooling. Like, it is just such a blessing. I'm a pastor's wife. I lead a homeschool co-op at our church. I teach online, some homeschool classes online. So I just have a very, very, besides I write books and curriculum. So I have a busy life, and I love it. And I love being part of the Homeschool Review Crew. That has been really fun. I was actually part of it years ago, and then life got very hectic, and I ended up coming back about 7 or 8 or 10.
Wow.
I don't know.
That's awesome.
At the very, very beginning. So
wow. Like what year would that have been, Meredith?
I cannot remember. You asked me, and I
was that the maiden year?
Figure it out. I'm sorry.
If it was the maiden year, that was 2008.
That sounds right.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That is pretty neat,
was
Meredith.
so long ago, and yeah, so it was. It's really been neat to see not only how the crew has retained all the positive things, but just grown and being more streamlined, being more helpful, being more community oriented. Like, it's just really neat. It was then, but it is now in an even better way. So it's just neat to see everything keep moving forward and growing.
Oh, Meredith, that's neat to hear you say that. Oh, it's such a blessing for us leaders to hear how it blesses you.
Yes.
So I really appreciate you telling us that. So that's so fascinating. You were with the crew in the very beginning, stepped away for a bit, and then came back again. That's really neat. And that is neat because we do we have that flexibility. Like if you're having a crazy year and new baby, take off and come back. Yeah. So that's one of the perks.
It was interesting because in the very beginning of the crew, we did, and I remember the logo had something to do with a ship and a boat. Do you remember, Tess? And so we had to do every single product.
Oh, wow.
Yes, every single product. So that was challenging because sometimes you would get a product review and you would think, wow, I don't know how to make this work for my family, but we would find a way. But now what I love is that when I came back, and the reason I left was just I had some elderly aunts that I was caring for and traveling, and they're one of my aunts that was in North Carolina, I'm in Florida, she didn't even have internet. So I'd had to walk to this hotel. It was just, so anyway, but now when I came back, it's like you can say, I'd like to do these reviews and these reviews. And that was such a blessing because then I can choose what really works well with my family. And I know that this is a fit. So that is one thing that has really been a blessing for me, and just seeing the crew grow. And I think you get much better reviews from that because everybody is really needing and using that kind of curriculum. So I think it's been really cool.
Yeah. Oh, that's neat to hear too. Cause yeah, exactly. And that's kind of our big thing is we use the product. And if it's something that you're like, I can't use this, it's really going to be tough to use it to write that review. So
exactly.
Yeah. So now being on the crew, what's your favorite part about the crew?
Oh my goodness, there's so many things. First of all, Tess, it is so good to see your face because I feel like Tess so often is my lifeline, and I feel like I'm always emailing her and asking her the dumbest questions. And she's always so gracious and nice. And I think that is one thing that I love about the Old Schoolhouse magazine and the Homeschool Review Crew is that you run into sisters in Christ.
Yes,
and so
absolutely.
They're always so kind and so loving, and they pray for you. And so yeah, I just appreciate the help because I feel like sometimes I get super busy and I miss something, and I'll text her and I'll say, hey, what is going on with this? And I think she's going to be upset, and she's so nice and she explains everything. And so that's been really cool. So I love the people that work with the homeschool crew. I love the products. I really enjoy seeing what people are doing. And my son had loved the Fallacy Detective when he was younger. And then we got to review it recently this past year, and it brought back so many good memories. And we used it and did some, but then I thought, oh my goodness, this book would make a great semester class on the school that I'm teaching, the homeschool academy that I'm teaching online. I thought, oh wow, this would be a great curriculum. So it even helps me, like, not just in homeschooling my children, but homeschooling co-ops and things like that. So anyway, so I love the products out. I mean, I think we'll talk more about that later, but I do love the products and I do love trying them out. And I also love the opportunity to network because it really was the first time I wasn't necessarily young, but I was a younger mom. I am a little, vintage. But I was a younger mom and my kids were younger, and I met all these other moms. And I also had started writing and blogging, and I just wasn't sure about it. And then I would meet other women who were doing that. I sort of like fell into it. And so then I would meet them and I thought, this is crazy. I've got to stop this. And then I would meet these other moms and they would tell me what they were doing. And I felt really encouraged. And I thought, oh my goodness, like, she's a normal person. She has a husband and children. She lives a normal life, and somehow she does that. And so it really, really helped me in pursuing things, and I felt like and I'm sorry, I keep going on and on.
No, this is good.
Please keep going. I love hearing this.
I love this.
So another thing is that there's so many opportunities with Review Crew to share your blogs and to really find some interesting blogs. Like sometimes I don't necessarily have anything to add to something, but I'll go through and read several of the blog posts and go ahead and share them on Pinterest because they are really good. They're really helpful. And I know that, I have people that are in my church or in my life that I know they'll really be encouraged and helped by these things. So when you ask that question, it's so hard to know because I could just zero in on so many different things. But so
that's, again, Meredith, I'm loving hearing this because it's so neat to hear how it's blessed you. And I'm so stealing the vintage homeschooling statement. Because I wasn't very specific when I introduced myself, but our oldest is 24. So I've been doing this a long time. And yes, I'm nearing the end of it. And I love that. I love it.
Yeah.
Term, it sounds nice.
I love it. You're not retired. You're just vintage, right?
Yes.
I love it.
So you mentioned
being in an antique store.
Exactly. Not antique, vintage. So you mentioned The Fallacy Detective. That was such a good book. I love that. What are some of the other things that you've reviewed over the years that you've really enjoyed?
I love the biographies by Janet and Ben.
It's Janet and Jeff, but it's through YWAM.
Yep.
Through
YWAM Publishing. Yes.
But
they're fantastic.
Every time I see their interest, thing, I always sign up right away because I'm like, oh my goodness, I have a collection of biographies now just from reviewing them. And I love their biographies and my whole family loves their biographies. So I pass them around. And that has been something that I've really appreciated. And every time, I think, oh, I've read a bunch about this guy. And then I'll go get the biography and read it. I've read different biographies and learn new things. So I really like those. One of my favorites is Homeschool in the Woods.
Yes.
Yes.
I love the hands-on projects. And I was tutoring someone and I ended up using it with this girl I was tutoring and one of the projects, and it just made everything click for her because everything was so simple. They have these great audios with it. And so that was really cool one time. I remember that happened one time, and it was just, we were doing like something completely different. And but anyway, that was,
the hands-on is so huge.
The hands-on is so awesome. And I love the way it is so excellent. Like it's just really produced well and really researched. And I get their newsletter and they just love history and they just have so many good things to say. So those are two products I really like. There was a geography game that
Byron's
Yes.
Byron's game. Yes.
And that geography, and then there was also a chess game that I interviewed. And both of those games we played, we liked them, and then I took them with me to my homeschool co-op, and I could not get them back. And I thought, guys, my teens were playing the geography game, and I'm like, guys, this is like way too old for you. But I had been playing it with my grandsons, but they loved it, and they were just really well done. So I'm always amazed at some of the great things that come through that are just so helpful for my whole life, like not just my homeschooling, but they spread out to other things. So that's been, I know I'm forgetting. I'm going to get off this and I'm going to say, what about these? What about them? What about them? But yeah, and there's been some authors. There was a girl last year, cannot even remember her name, but she wrote these 3 beautiful books, picture books, and I remember doing them. So just so many things that we've come across, and I would never know about some of these things without being on the review crew. And that's something, like, yes, I would hear about Homeschool in the Woods or YWAM, but I would never hear about these other authors and things they do. I think last year we did an apologetics. We reviewed an apologetics
Mhm.
video series. Really, really good. And I was actually able to share with someone that I had, reviewed this series, and they should look into it because they were needing to find something. So anyway, that's just a few.
No, I'm really amazed at just the variety of stuff that we
Mhm.
review. It's really neat.
Yes.
It can be a math curriculum, but then it can be, a literature series. And then it can even just be something that helps supplement your math, like,
Mhm.
a game or something. And it can be online products. And the variety is really, really neat. I love that. Yeah. And
I thought of another one that I love, 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 and that's Memoria Press.
oh, yes.
Mhm.
And I did the 1 year I had to do the Latin curriculum, and my younger children, I knew they had gotten Latin when they were out on the soccer field and they made a mistake and said mea culpa. So I was like, they got it. But I
Fantastic.
wanted it because I tried so many different ways to teach Latin to my kids. And so we're going down to the bottom, like we're at the end, the tail end in middle school. And I'm thinking, I'll try it. It was so good. So, yeah. So that's another one I really like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. And we have a few crew people on here, I can tell. And I saw somebody said CTC math. That one has been just very popular. And we have such good feedback with that one. So if you're a crew peep on here, throw into the comments what your favorite things are that we reviewed. I'd love to see. So yeah, Meredith, I'm so thankful you came on here. This was so fun getting to know you better.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was really fun to meet you guys in person. And thank you for letting me share.
Thank you for sharing. And I have to say, Charlotte, this has been so much fun so far for me because I love hearing Meredith just tell us about all of the different things she likes. And one of the things that I really enjoy, Meredith, is just when you speak about the crew and the community and the different things that we do, your face lights up. And I love that. It's so genuine. And so I'm so glad that you're having such a good time with the crew.
I'm so thankful you're a part of our team, Meredith. I am. And thank you so much for sharing tonight.
Thank you for having me, ladies. It was great to be here.
Have a good night. Wow, that is so encouraging to hear how it's blessed her and how her family's grown. I mean, that's crazy. From 2000, did you say 2008? Because I didn't come on the crew. So actually, I was a crew member up until 2019, and I think I came on the crew in 2012. So Meredith beat me. But that is so neat to see how over the years it has blessed her family as such a neat thing to see. So, and I know, Tess, you were also a crew member before you became a crew leader. So what year, Tess, did you join the crew as a member?
I think it was spring of 2010.
Okay.
And I think Elizabeth, my oldest, was just starting high school. And we were at a point financially where our income had been cut in half because my husband had changed jobs. And so we were so incredibly blessed by the crew because it allowed us to homeschool. I mean, we were able to get products that we could not have purchased. We just couldn't afford them. But it was amazing how we were able to meet high school requirements because my daughter decided she wanted to go to college and she needed to have these electives. And so we were talking about Memoria Press with Meredith. My family fell in love with Memoria Press. We reviewed I think it was my first year on the crew. We reviewed First Form Latin. And then my children wanted to continue. And thankfully, because I'm a leader, my middle daughter has done second form Latin. And she's kind of started with third form Latin, but she said, Mom, I have to have fourth form. So, I mean, it was just, and we were able to meet some foreign language because we reviewed Mango languages. So my daughters had beautiful transcripts that they would not have had otherwise if it wasn't for the blessing of being able to review those products through the Homeschool Review Crew.
That is so neat to hear. It's
Mhm.
funny you bring up Mango languages. I there were so many things. I kind of want to echo what Meredith said before I go into Mango, but there are so many things I didn't know existed until I
Yes.
joined the
Yeah.
crew. I'm like, this is an amazing product. Why have I not seen this? And part of it's because you're just not looking, but then you feel good because you're promoting this amazing thing, on social media. And so I found so many things that I just didn't know existed. Mango languages, we loved it. We absolutely loved Mango languages. And I had, as a homeschooler, you make friends with your librarian, right? They see you in
Yes.
there every
Mhm.
week, right? Checking out the maximum 50 books or whatever it is per child. Anyways, so we're in the library, and I had talked to the librarian. She knew we homeschooled, and she had asked about things I was reading, and I said, "Oh, I have a blog, and I write reviews." She's like, "Oh, give me the URL. I want to look it up." The next week, she said, "Oh my goodness, I was reading all your reviews. Mango languages. Can we use it in the library?" She said, "I looked it up, and they have a library program." She brought Mango languages to our library because of my review.
That is so awesome.
That's amazing.
And to this day, my kids still use Mango languages, and it's actually through our library system. And she said, "I would have never found this if it wasn't for your review." So you just never know who's going to read those reviews, who's going to share those reviews. And you just don't know. And it's really neat to see how God works, even through the libraries.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's the crew has been such a blessing to our family as well, and just showing us things we didn't even know were out there. So I know some people ask questions about homeschooling with special needs. We do review some things that are for kids with special needs. This past year, we reviewed a program called Dyslexia Gold. We got some really great feedback on how that helped some kids. I know another question people sometimes have is, how do you fit this into your homeschooling? And I know it can be, you can think, well, I have different things going on, and you are going to have reviews that might overlap, but you make it work. And if you think about it, I'm more eclectic, but I don't use all the same curriculum for all my subjects. So you really do dabble in things. I've actually been super blessed by changing things up with the crew. It's shown me a different way to teach math. I have a daughter that struggles, and she needed to see the objects. We reviewed something called Touch Math years ago. It completely changed how she saw math. Yeah. So
I have a special needs daughter, and through the crew, I've been able to use different products as a review. I also was on that Touch Math review, Charlotte, and that was when I realized how much my daughter needed to feel and that kinesthetic part. And then when we reviewed another math program, it was A+ Tutor Soft, and my daughter needed a kinesthetic part. So in my review, I talked about what she liked and what worked for her. And because I had another daughter use it, I was able to talk about how I adapted it for my special needs daughter. And yet how it worked for somebody who's more neurotypical or doesn't have those same issues. And so it was easy in the sense that I could take other math manipulatives and put them in front of her, in front of the computer, so she could do the hand thing and then answer the question on the computer. So, but yeah, it's you get to learn your children's learning styles by trying different products. And if you have more than one child, you can have one child using one product and another child using a different product, so that you can still do multiple reviews at the same time, because you're not having everybody using everything at the same time.
The one subject that I don't think I have ever taught the same curriculum that at the same time is math. all of my kids are different. We're in different math curriculums, and we changed it up year after year. It really, and that's one of the things you realize when you start homeschooling is how kids learn differently. And some of them need different ways of teaching things. And the crew has just opened up that world to me of all of the different curriculums that are out there for different styles of learning. And so that's just one of the huge benefits. And then it works really well to fit in when you need to write reviews. So yeah.
One thing I love too, Charlotte and Tess, is through your all's reviews. So Tess, you were able to take a product and work it with your special needs daughter, but also a daughter that is a little bit different and does math a little bit differently. And then Charlotte, you have the opportunity to see the way your children, different children, use a product differently. So as a mom, as a homeschooling mom, and especially a mom who I have a high schooler and a kindergartner, so who are very different, it's really great for me to be able to go to the website then and read your reviews and say, oh, you know what, for this daughter, this product will work great. And for this daughter, maybe this one will. But to see the differences and to have that website available for any parent to go to and look up these products and see how they can benefit their different children. I think that's so amazing that we have that.
Yes, exactly. And it really, it gives you ideas when you're teaching your own kids. And then what's great about our reviews is we also show you or tell you how we used it. You know, not just what's there, but how it actually worked. And
right.
that's a massive thing. That's to be able to read that, to have that opinion. And so that, yeah, I love that about the crew. So, so now we've learned about the crew, and Candy's telling us about Rod and Staff. Rod and Staff is a neat program, but yes, I'm so thankful, Candy, that you are on the crew and that you've been benefiting from our products. But now I want to kind of turn it because we do have another team that reviews with the Old Schoolhouse. So Stephanie, are you going to start us off with some questions about that?
I would love to. Yes. So Tess is our manager extraordinaire for our singles review team. And it's a really great service that we have. Again, I'm in such a different position that I get to put different hats on. And so my director of ad sales hat goes on when I talk about these things. But Tess, I'm sure, can tell us a lot more about it. But Tess, would you care to tell us a little bit about what the singles team actually is?
Sure. The singles team is a team like the crew, but separate from the crew, that does the same thing in the sense that we receive a product and we use it with our family, and then we write a review based on those experiences. But it's not quite the same as the crew because I only have one product to be able to assign to a family at a time. That's why we call it the singles team. The crew, we might have up to 50 that we can assign. But with the singles, I just have one product to assign to a reviewer. And like the review crew, you need to be a homeschooling family and you're going to use the product and write your review. But unlike the crew, you don't have to have a blog. You don't have to have social media. You don't need to worry about being active on those platforms. Because when you write your review, you're going to send it to me and I'm going to do the little processing and I'm going to send it to this terrific guy named Brian. And he's going to put it up on the Old Schoolhouse's product review website. And then the company that gets this review, they're going to be able to use that review in any of their marketing materials. They may even use quotes from it in advertising that they do with the Old Schoolhouse magazine. So that part makes it a little bit different. But we also, Heather, that is a great question. Heather is asking how many reviews would a single reviewer usually review? That depends. This is a question I've had before, and it's I can't give a simple, easy answer. So bear with me because it really depends on the number of products that we have companies working with our advertising sales reps. So it depends on how many products come in for review. It depends on what those products are. And it depends on how interested the reviewer is in the product. So I have some reviewers who probably review at least a dozen. So like about one a month. And I have other reviewers who might actually only review one product in the whole year, but they're both extremely valuable because every family is different. Every family has different needs. And so by having a team that's active, and active for the singles team is defined as participating by filling out these forms that I have. It's similar to the interest forms for the crew. And they don't have to say, oh, I want to review it. They can just say, nope, not interested. But that means I know they're still actively participating. They're actively looking at what's available, even if it's not a great fit. And then, and we have a little small community. It's much smaller than the crew, but they're welcome to ask questions and do prayer requests. So, yeah.
So Tess, what type of products do you all review with the singles team?
Oh, I'm going to show you one right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. This is a product that we just got a couple weeks ago. I just sent it out to the reviewer who emailed me that she received hers today. This is called Go Donut. And this particular one, it's an iPad, iPhone, or any tablet or device. And this is a swivel. They call it the swivel. There's 3 versions. But yeah, so we review neat little things.
Charlotte and I are looking at the screen thinking, ooh, we want to see more.
That looks cool.
We reviewed games. It's out of reach, but I'm reviewing this awesome Candula cream. I'm not even sure if I'm saying it right, but like some hand creams. There's a possibility of reviewing like baking goods. Just a few weeks ago, we posted to the website something called the Coded Chef, which is great for special needs because everything's coded. It's a recipe book, an apron, an oven mitt, and it's fantastic. And so, yeah. And I mean, and of course we have curriculum too, of course, but with singles, we have slightly different products that we can review. But yeah, we've done math. We're reviewing a chemical elements activity book that just went out to a reviewer this week. And what's going out next week will be put up. So it's a sneak peek if any of my singles team are here. It's an inductive Bible study on the book of James.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and that vendor is a former crew member. It's Abby Banks, 4 and 1 more. She's a former crew member.
Yes, I recognize her name.
And she's the company or the sales rep said, oh, can we do this? And I'm like, that's Abby. She's on the crew. So that is so we'll be reviewing Abby's Bible
That's
study.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So really there are so many amazing products on the crew, and we have lots of reviewers that can do the crew reviews, and then we have really amazing products on singles. The biggest difference being there's one review instead of 5 to 50.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yep. Yes.
Awesome. But it sounds like fun either way.
Yes, I feel so incredibly blessed to be the manager for the singles review department and still have be part of Charlotte's team for helping her with the review crew. I feel like I've got the best of both worlds.
And you two do such an amazing job. And I say that with everything in me. You do an amazing job. You are both so fantastic at what you do.
Well, I have an amazing team. I have Tess that is in some ways my right-hand man. And then Kristen is our social media manager. Michelle manages our website. And the 4 of us just in the last year have really bonded in a great way. We have been able to encourage one another, to help one another. Our leadership team, I feel, is so strong right now, and I'm so very, very thankful for them. I'm so very thankful for the Old Schoolhouse and what they are saying, what they're getting out to the homeschoolers. It's just a real pivotal time right now. There's so many people turning to homeschooling, and the Old Schoolhouse is there to help them. And the crew is there to promote these products and to get these products into the hands of reviewers. So it's really a neat win-win for everyone. So yeah. Well, I'm really thankful that you guys joined us tonight, and all of you that are listening. I just want you to know that we're here. If you have questions about the crew, you can email me for questions with the crew. You can email Tess as well, questions with singles. Her email would be thamre@theoldschoolhouse.com. And if you don't get that, email me and I'll send you her email for more information on singles. But I really would encourage you guys to, if you're interested, to apply for the crew. Our application for the 2022 year is open, and we're excited to invite new members to come and join our team. Please do. Our website, it has the application there, and I believe after our live is done, you will also see maybe a link to that application. So please, if you'd like, apply, and if you have any questions at all, email me. Krista, we're so thankful for you being on the crew. Thank you all for watching tonight. Thank you so much to Stephanie and Tess and to Meredith for joining me. It's really neat to put faces to the names, and I'm excited to have a whole new year next year with the crew. So I think that's going to end our live, and I hope you all have a good evening.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.